Welcome to the deep dive, and specifically, welcome to our rugby obsession deep dive today. We are jumping straight into something pretty fascinating from the world of rugby. A tactical experiment that's, well, it's bold enough that it could really shake up how we think about player roles. So, our mission today, we're going to unpack the Springboks' big decision putting center Andre Esterhuizen on as a replacement flanker, and, what this whole hybrid idea might mean for the game going forward.
Exactly. And we're getting our info straight from the source, basically from an article over on Planet Rugby. It's got quotes from the Springboks coach, Rassie Erasmus, and Esterhuizen himself talking about this move. It really is a prime example of strategic thinking in rugby, isn't it? How top teams are always looking for that edge.
Absolutely. And hey, before we really get into the weeds here, just a quick reminder for you. If you love rugby talk like this, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession, wherever you listen, really. That way you won't miss any of our future deep dives. Okay, so let's break this down. Picture this. DHL Stadium, Cape Town. Springboks playing the Barbarians. The Books won big 54-7. Impressive score, yeah, but that wasn't the main talking point for a lot of people watching closely. No, it was this one specific substitution. Andre Esterhuizen, the big center, powerhouse midfielder. He comes onto the pitch and packs down on the flank, just like that. Was this like an emergency measure or something else?
Yeah, that's what makes this so interesting. It wasn't some kind of panic move. Rassie Erasmus, the head coach, he's come out and confirmed it. This is deliberate, a long-term project, he called it. And what's really innovative here, I think, is the direction. We often see players like Kwagga Smith, right? A back rower who can jump into the back line, forward who can play like a back. This Esterhuizen thing, it's the complete opposite. Taking a backline player and specifically training him for forward duties. Breakdown work, close quarter carries, that sort of thing.
Right, so it's a planned strategy, not just adapting on the fly. Erasmus actually called Esterhuizen a hybrid player. Fundamentally a back, he said, but one who can now genuinely play in the forwards. And get this, he mentioned talks started like 5 months ago. 5 months. So what does that tell us about how the Springboks are thinking strategically?
Oh, it says a lot. A whole lot about how they view versatility and maybe even player development itself. This isn't just about plugging a hole. Erasmus also pointed out the role of Felix Jones, the assistant coach. Apparently, Jones has been key in managing Esterhuizen's training, like specifically designing sessions for both forward and back play, making sure he's got the conditioning, the skills for both. Imagine balancing that, keeping his center skills sharp while building, the specific strength and technique for a flanker. It's complex coaching.
That tailored approach is pretty incredible. But what about the man himself? Andre Esterhuizen.
Right.
How does a player, established at center feel about being asked to do something so different? Because his buy-in is crucial, right, for this to actually work. And interestingly, when he was asked about it, he sounded, quite positive. He said, "It was a good experience. I obviously trained there this week and enjoyed it, and I believe it is a good attribute for the future." That's pretty pragmatic, isn't it? Seems like he's genuinely up for it.
Yeah, his attitude is key here. And he explained it wasn't just dropped on him. He said, Rassie obviously spoke to me about it, and we came to an agreement. And even more revealing, he added that he'd, quote, been waiting for this conversation to come up for some time because it had been raised in the past.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he's been thinking about adaptability himself, maybe seeing where the game is heading.
That's fascinating. And he made a really good point about sort of career longevity, too, saying as one gets older, you learn how you can slot into different positions.
Yeah.
And it helps to get into the team more constantly. One needs to learn to adapt as a player. So I'm looking forward to how it can work out. That's a really mature way to look at it, isn't it? Adaptability is a key skill in itself.
Exactly. And he doubled down on that, saying he wouldn't do it if he wasn't keen. His words were something like, "I'm definitely keen to learn and to slot into a bit of a hybrid role." That can cover the forwards and backs. It will help me as a player personally, and it will help the team as well. So hopefully we will see more of that in the future. And look, this wasn't just a 5-minute cameo at the end. He came on early, 44th minute. The Balks were clearing their bench, sure, but he got significant game time in that flanker role. Played a real part.
That shows real commitment to the idea from the coaches, too, putting him on that early.
Right.
I was just pausing for a second here. If you're finding this discussion on rugby's tactical shifts interesting and you want more like it, make sure you're subscribed to Rugby Obsession. We dive into this kind of stuff all the time. Don't miss out. Okay, so stepping back again, the bigger picture. What could this mean for rugby more broadly? It feels like more than just a one-off experiment for one team. Is this kind of the future? More hybrid players becoming the norm?
I think it could be, yeah. Or at least it signals a strong trend.
Versatility is just becoming so incredibly valuable in the modern game. Think about the bench, the match day 23. If you have a guy like Esterhuizen who can genuinely cover, say, center and flanker, that potentially frees up a spot for another specialist, maybe a front rower or another lock. It gives the coach so many more options. During a game, too, injuries happen. Tactics change. Being able to bring on a back who can do a forwards job or vice versa, that adaptability mid-match is huge. It makes a team way harder to play against, less predictable. It's smart management.
That flexibility on the bench is a massive point. It changes the whole equation for squad selection. So, thinking about all this, what stands out to you listening right now from this whole Andre Esterhuizen experiment? Have you seen anything similar, maybe in other teams, other leagues, or even totally different sports where players cross traditional boundaries like this? And what are your thoughts? How does this kind of player versatility change things? Team selection, how a match flows? Let us know your opinions. We genuinely love to hear them. Well, that pretty much brings us towards the end of our deep dive today on the Springboks. And this really innovative Andre Esterhuizen experiment is definitely a positive move, very forward-thinking, really highlights how adaptability, strategic thinking, how crucial they are at the very top level of rugby.
Absolutely. And maybe just a final thought to chew on. As we see players starting to blur these old positional lines more and more, how far could this hybrid idea actually go? Is there a limit? Could we see benches full of players who can play almost anywhere? Or does specialization still hold the ultimate trump card in rugby? Definitely something to think about next time you're watching a match.
Food for thought indeed. And please don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession if you haven't already. Stay ahead of the curve with rugby insights and analysis.
Thank you so much for listening to this Rugby Obsession deep dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.